Good morning, ma'am. Our report is all about test construction by Melody Felix and Anna Pedrajas. At the end of this lesson, the students will be able to define test construction and explain its importance in EPP. Second, identify and discuss the principles and steps involved in test construction and apply their understanding by developing a sample test aligned with EPP learning competencies. So let's define what is test construction. Test construction is the process of creating tests that accurately measure what students have learned to make sure the test is effective, fair, and useful in evaluating learning outcomes. Importance of test construction ensures alignment between learning objectives and assessments, promotes fair evaluation of students' skills and knowledge, helps identify students' strengths and weaknesses, provides feedback for both teaching and learning improvement. Principles of test construction. So first, validity. When we say validity, the test items must directly reflect the learning competences or objectives being assessed. Like for example, if the objectives is identify the parts of a test, then the test should include items about part of a test, not unrelated topics like classroom rules. Second is reliability. A reliable test given similar results even when administered at another time or scored by another teacher. Like for example, a well-constructed multiple choice exam will give similar students scores even when checked by different teachers using the same answer key. Third, objectivity. Scores are not affected by personal bias or opinion. Questions and scoring procedure must ensure fairness, like for example, using clearly written multiple choice items reduce the chance of a teacher favoring certain students because scoring is based on correct answers. Fourth, comprehensiveness. The test covers all important topics in the lesson. The test should represent all learning objectives, not just one part. Like for example, a test about test construction contains items on validity, reliability, objectivity, comprehensiveness, and scorability, not just validity alone. Fifth, scorability. The test is easy to check and provides clear criteria. The teacher should be able to grade answers quickly and accurately. Like for example, a test with multiple choice, matching type, or true or false questions can be scored efficiently using an answer key or scan sheet. So next will be discussed by Anna Pedrajas.
So, step and test construction. So, test construction follows a systematic process to ensure that the test is valid, reliable, and aligned with learning goals. So, next is prepare a table of specification or TOS, service a test, blueprint showing how many items for per topic or objective. So, example, 10 questions on tools, 5 on safety, 5 on processes. So, next is write test items. So, create different types of questions such as a multiple choice, identification, or essay. So, example, explain the importance of safety in food preparation. So, next is review and edit test items. So, check for grammar, clarity, and fairness. So, example, remove confusing or vague questions. So, next is try out or pilot test. So, administer the test of a small group to check difficulty and clarity. So, example, give the test to one section and gather feedback. So, the next is analyze result and improve. So, review scores to identify weak items or unfair questions. So, next is revise example, revise question that did not match the lesson. The next is example of TOS and sample test. So, a table of specification or TOS ensure that each test questions is aligned with the lesson objective. So the next is qualities with meaning. So clear and simple directions. So essay for student to understand. Appropriate difficulty level, not too easy, not too hard. So, free from bias and ambiguity, avoid confusion or unfair and advantage. So next is cover. So, focus on the most important lesson. So, next is motivate lesson. Motivate learners, encourages students to do their best. So, the next is qualities of a good test. So, a good test must be well constructed, fair, clear, and aligned with learning objectives. It should encourage critical thinking and reflect real learning. So, example, the teacher provides clear directions and equal coverage of all topics discussed in EPP. So, next is common errors to avoid. So, common mistake and test construction can affect in accuracy and fairness. So, example is writing questions with grammatical errors that change meaning. So, the last is common errors. So, causes inaccurate measurement of learning. So, next is confuses student. Next is leads to an unrelated question. So, last is makes the test unreliable. So, that's all. Thank you.